Charles Bronson was an American film icon, celebrated for his rugged on-screen persona and enduring career in Hollywood. While widely known for his tough guy image and roles in action films, Bronson's life and career are marked by a multitude of lesser-known and intriguing facts that provide a deeper glimpse into the man behind the iconic characters he portrayed. From his early struggles and military service to his rise to international stardom, Bronson's journey is a fascinating tale of determination, resilience, and an enduring legacy in the world of cinema. In this video, we'll delve into the life and career of Charles Bronson, uncovering some of the lesser-known aspects that you'll find surprising. Early days. Charles Bronson, born Charles Dennis Buchinsky on November 3, 1921 in Ehrenfeld, Pennsylvania, had a fascinating early life that eventually led to a remarkable career in Hollywood. He would become one of the most iconic actors in the action genre, known for his tough guy image and rugged on-screen presence. Bronson was the 11th of 15 children born to Lithuanian immigrant parents. Growing up in a coal mining town, he experienced a tough and often harsh upbringing. Ehrenfeld, PA was a coal mining town, and Bronson's father worked as a coal miner to support his family. But the wages earned by coal miners during that time were meager, and the family lived in poverty. His father died when he was only 10 years old. To help make ends meet, Charles and his siblings took on various odd jobs from a young age. They worked in coal mines, lumber mills, and other physically demanding jobs to contribute to the family income. The economic struggles of the Buchinsky family also affected the children's educational opportunities. Charles had to drop out of school at a young age to work and help support the family, which limited his formal education. Despite the challenging circumstances of his upbringing, Charles's determination and work ethic were instilled in him during these difficult times. His pursuit of a career in acting, which required resilience and perseverance, was in part driven by his desire to escape the economic struggles of his early life. Smoking at age 9. Charles Bronson's smoking habit was a significant aspect of his life that ultimately contributed to his health issues and demise. He began smoking at a very young age, and this lifelong habit took a toll on his health. Growing up in a blue-collar family during the early 20th century, smoking was a common habit among adults and even some children. Bronson started smoking at age 9, likely influenced by the prevalence of tobacco use during that era. As his career in Hollywood took off and he became a well-known actor, his smoking habit continued unabated. He was known to be a heavy smoker, consuming multiple packs of cigarettes a day. Over the years, Bronson's heavy smoking took a toll on his health, although he initially appeared to be in good physical shape. In his later years, Charles faced a number of health problems, including chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD, which is often linked to smoking. COPD is a progressive lung condition that can severely impact a person's ability to breathe and carry out daily activities. As his health deteriorated, Bronson's quality of life diminished significantly. Breathing difficulties and the need for oxygen support became part of his daily life, making it challenging for him to continue his career in the same way he had in the past. Charles Bronson passed away August 30, 2003, at age 81. While the exact cause of death was not solely attributed to smoking, it's widely acknowledged that his heavy smoking over many decades contributed to his respiratory problems and overall health decline. Time in the Army. Charles enlisted in the U.S. Army during World War II. His enlistment occurred in 1943 when he was in his early 20s. He served as a member of the 760th Flexible Gunnery Training Squadron, which was part of the Army Air Forces. During his time in the military, he worked as a military police officer, responsible for maintaining order, enforcing regulations, and ensuring security on the military base. He was stationed in the Pacific Theater of Operations during his military service. He served in various capacities, including guarding military installations and possibly participating in combat operations, although the specifics of his combat experience are not widely documented. Bronson's military service had a lasting impact on his life, and it influenced some of his later roles in Hollywood. His military background provided him with an understanding of discipline, duty, and the experiences of soldiers, which he drew upon when portraying military characters in films. After World War II ended, Bronson utilized the GI Bill to pursue his interest in acting. He attended the prestigious Pasadena Playhouse in California, where he received formal training in theater and began his journey towards a career in entertainment. His military career wasn't as well documented as his acting career, but it was a formative period in his life that contributed to his personal growth and provided him with valuable life lessons. A Burp to Remember. Bronson initially struggled to find work in Hollywood and took on a variety of jobs to make ends meet, including working as a lumberjack and a truck driver. His rugged appearance and experience in physically demanding jobs gave him a unique edge in the industry, and his journey to his first role in the film You're in the Navy Now in 1951 is a testament to his determination and perseverance as an aspiring actor. This early break opened the door to future opportunities. Like many aspiring actors, Bronson initially took on small, non-speaking roles as an extra in films to gain experience and exposure. These early roles allowed him to become familiar with the film industry and its workings. His first break came when he had the opportunity to meet director Henry Hathaway. Hathaway was known for his work in Hollywood and was casting for the film You're in the Navy Now, a comedy drama centered around life aboard a Navy ship. Henry was impressed by Bronson's rugged appearance and no-nonsense demeanor, but even more so, he loved that Bronson was able to burp on cue. It was something the role called for, so he gave Bronson the part. He played the role of a sailor named Waskluski in the movie. While the part was relatively small, it was a big step forward in his budding acting career. But sadly, it wasn't enough for him to get an actual credit in the cut of the movie. Famous roommate. In the 1940s, Charles Bronson, then still known as Charles Buchinsky, and Jack Klugman were both aspiring actors trying to make their mark in the entertainment industry. They met and became friends while studying at the renowned Actors Studio in New York City, an institution known for training some of the finest actors in the world. The two young actors, facing financial challenges like many artists trying to establish themselves, decided to share an apartment to reduce living expenses. This arrangement allowed them to pursue their acting careers while managing the high cost of living in New York City. They both continued to refine their craft at the Actors Studio, which was instrumental in their development as actors. While roommates, Bronson and Klugman supported each other's ambitions and shared their dreams and experiences. Both went on to achieve notable success in Hollywood, with Bronson becoming an iconic action star and Klugman gaining fame for his roles in television series like The Odd Couple and Quincy M.E. Changing his name. Charles Bronson's decision to change his name from Charles Buchinsky was influenced by the Red Scare and the political climate of the time. The Red Scare was a period of intense anti-communist sentiment and paranoia in the U.S., particularly during the late 1940s and early 50s. This era was marked by a fear of communist infiltration and led to heightened scrutiny of individuals with perceived leftist or quote-unquote un-American associations. There was a widespread belief that communist sympathizers and members of leftist organizations were working to subvert American democracy. As a result, people with ties to such groups, or even those who were mistakenly accused of having such ties, often faced suspicion and discrimination. Charles Buchinsky was born to Lithuanian immigrant parents, and his original surname reflected his family's heritage. But the association of Eastern European names with communism was a concern during the Red Scare. Many Eastern European immigrants and their descendants were unfairly targeted as potential communist sympathizers. To avoid being associated with communism or being seen as a potential threat during this politically charged period, some people chose to adopt more American-sounding names. Steve McQueen gave him the name. During the period of the Red Scare, Charles Buchinsky was friends with fellow actor Steve McQueen. McQueen, who was already gaining recognition in Hollywood, is said to have suggested that Buchinsky change his last name to something less ethnically associated and more quote-unquote American-sounding to improve his chances in the industry. The story behind the selection of the name Bronson has a few variations. One version suggests that McQueen suggested Bronson after seeing a street sign for Bronson Avenue in Los Angeles. Another version attributes the name to Bronson's own choice, inspired by the Bronson Gate at Paramount Pictures Studios. Regardless of the exact source, the name change to Bronson was meant to give him a more neutral and marketable identity. To formalize the name change, Charles Buchinsky legally became Charles Bronson. It allowed him to navigate the Hollywood landscape with a name that was less likely to trigger associations with his Eastern European heritage and the political climate of the era. Late bloomer. Charles Bronson's journey to Hollywood success was indeed a testament to his perseverance and resilience, as he experienced a relatively late bloom in his acting career compared to many of his peers in the industry. Unlike many actors who break into the industry at a young age, Bronson's early years in Hollywood were marked by struggle and limited opportunities. He took on various odd jobs, including coal mining, lumberjacking, and working as an extra in films to make ends meet. Bronson's early roles were often small and went uncredited. It wasn't until he was in his 30s and 40s that he began to gain recognition for his work in supporting roles. He gradually built his reputation as a reliable and versatile actor. Some of his breakthrough roles came in the 1960s, including The Magnificent Seven and The Great Escape. These films helped him gain recognition as a talented actor with a strong screen presence. It was during the 70s and 80s that Charles Bronson achieved iconic status as an action star, with roles in films like Death Wish and Hard Times. These movies cemented his reputation as a rugged and relentless action hero. Bronson's late bloom in Hollywood is a testament to his determination, work ethic, and talent. Despite the challenges he faced in his early life and career, he persevered and ultimately became one of the most enduring and beloved actors of his generation. His success serves as an inspiring example of how dedication and tenacity can lead to Hollywood stardom, even when the journey begins later in life. Death Wish. Charles Bronson's casting as the lead in the film Death Wish in 1974 was not the initial choice for the role, and his eventual selection came after a series of considerations and changes in the casting process. Death Wish is based on the novel of the same name by Brian Garfield and tells the story of Paul Kersey, a vigilante who takes the law into his own hands after his wife is brutally attacked and his daughter is sexually assaulted. The novel's dark and controversial themes generated significant interest in adapting it into a film. Several actors were considered for the role of Paul Kersey before Charles Bronson. Among the early contenders were Jack Lemmon, Henry Fonda, and even Clint Eastwood. These actors were seen as more conventional choices for the character. Michael Winner, the director of Death Wish, had originally envisioned the film as a more overtly political statement against violence and vigilantism. The script underwent several revisions to accommodate different casting choices and changes in the direction of the film. Charles Bronson's name came up during the casting discussions. At the time, he was already established as a tough guy actor, known for his roles in various action films. His image and on-screen persona were seen as a better fit for the gritty, street-level vigilante character that Paul Kersey represented. Ultimately, Charles was chosen to play Kersey, marking a departure from the original casting ideas. Bronson's tough and rugged image, coupled with his growing popularity as an action star, made him a compelling choice for the role. Death Wish became a major box office success, catapulting Bronson to even greater fame and solidifying his reputation as a vigilante action hero. The film's commercial success led to multiple sequels, further cementing Bronson's association with the character. The Tunnel Rat. Charles Bronson's role as Danny the Tunnel Rat in the film The Great Escape in 1963 was influenced by his real-life experiences, particularly his service in the U.S. Army during World War II. His personal background and the skills he gained during his military service played a significant role in shaping his portrayal of this iconic character. Bronson had served as a gunner in the U.S. Army Air Forces during World War II and one of the most notable aspects of his military service that influenced his role was his involvement in tunneling operations. In the Army, he was part of a team responsible for digging trenches and tunnels, which were crucial for various purposes, including providing cover and concealment during combat. In The Great Escape, Bronson's character, Danny the Tunnel Rat, was a skilled digger responsible for tunneling and escaping from a German prisoner of war camp. His character's proficiency in tunneling and escape was central to the plot of the film. Bronson's personal experience with tunneling during his military service allowed him to bring a sense of realism and authenticity to his role. His knowledge of the challenges, dangers, and tactics involved in tunneling operations enriched his portrayal of Danny. The character was known for his resilience and resourcefulness, traits that were often associated with soldiers who had experienced the harsh realities of war. Bronson's own background in military service likely helped him convey these characteristics convincingly. International stardom first. Charles Bronson's rise to fame as an international star before achieving widespread recognition in the U.S. is a remarkable aspect of his career. While he eventually became an iconic American action hero, his early success and popularity in other parts of the world contributed significantly to his status as a global film icon. In the late 60s and early 70s, Bronson's career gained considerable momentum in Europe, particularly in countries like France and Italy. He starred in a series of European co-productions and international films that garnered significant attention and box office success. He collaborated with acclaimed European directors such as Sergio Leone, who directed him in Once Upon a Time in the West, and Henri Verneuil, who directed him in The Sicilian Clan and The Valachi Papers. These collaborations helped him gain recognition among European audiences. Bronson's work in European cinema often included roles in spaghetti westerns, crime dramas, and action films, genres that were immensely popular in Europe at the time. His rugged and stoic persona resonated with European audiences. Many of the European films in which Bronson appeared were box office hits, contributing to his growing international fame. His popularity in Europe was reflected in the strong performance of these films at the box office. By the early 70s, he had become an iconic figure in European cinema. His fame transcended national borders, and he was celebrated as an international star. The incident on Veracruz. A wild incident happened to Bronson and his co-star Ernest Borgnine while filming on the movie Veracruz in 1954. During a break from filming, the two, both still dressed in their Western costumes from the movie, decided to explore the Mexican town of Cuernavaca, where they were shooting. As they wandered the streets, they caught the attention of some locals not familiar with the production. Unbeknownst to the actors, their attire, complete with guns holstered in their belts, made them look like authentic cowboys to the locals. This misunderstanding led to the unexpected and dramatic encounter. As they strolled through the town, they encountered a group of armed men who mistook them for real American cowboys or even lawmen. In a case of mistaken identity, the locals apparently believed the two actors were American law enforcement officers or vigilantes. The armed men confronted Bronson and Borgnine, demanding they hand over their weapons. Unfazed by the situation and still in character, the actors complied and surrendered their prop guns to the would-be bandits. It was only after the incident that the true nature of the situation became clear. Once the props were returned, the actors were free to go. Stealing his wife from her husband. The story of how Charles Bronson met Jill Ireland is intriguing and unconventional. Charles Bronson and Jill Ireland first crossed paths while they were working on The Great Escape. Bronson played Danny the Tunnel Rat, while Jill played the character of Susan, the wife of David McCallum's character, Ashley Pitt. During the filming, Charles and Jill began to develop a close friendship. It was during this time that Bronson reportedly had romantic feelings for Ireland, despite the fact that she was married to his co-star David McCallum. As the story goes, his feelings for Jill were strong and undeniable. He eventually had a candid conversation with McCallum, informing him of his intention to marry Ireland. This revelation understandably created tension between the two actors. After a period of turmoil and personal reflection, Jill decided to divorce McCallum, She subsequently married Charles Bronson in 1968, marking the beginning of their enduring and well-documented relationship. They became a celebrated Hollywood couple both professionally and personally. A huge fan. Bronson was once left $300,000 in the will of a fan of his. In 1997, Audrey Nauer passed away, and in her will, she made the unusual decision to leave her entire estate, which amounted to $300,000, to Charles Bronson. Charles didn't even know the woman. She was that big of a fan. Her family, however, maintained she wasn't in her right mind when she wrote the will and contested it. The issue was settled out of court. Now it's time to hear from you. What's the most surprising fact you heard about Charles Bronson? Let us know in the comments section below.